The world is awakening to the importance of mental health. For too long, the difficulties of anxiety, depression, and other expressions of an unhealthy mind have been overlooked, and those who suffer marginalized. Anxiety and depression were declared a global mental health pandemic before COVID-19. Social distancing has now left us alone with our minds by removing distractions that we used to escape. This forced introversion is revealing and intensifying a plethora of mental health issues. In the Western countries, people are fortunate to have skilled mental health professionals available to offer expertise in managing these diseases of the mind. In the East, the awareness is still growing, often a taboo in many areas. So what can spirituality offer in these times of intense emotional and mental disturbance? Firstly, a grounding and understanding in self-awareness, a recognition of your own depth. There's the million-dollar question, who am I? The word I has so many labels, and the discovery of the real I is the journey of self-awareness. Coming home to the self. This brings with it a sense of the body being a vessel, and I the being, a soul that lives inside this body. When the spirit enters the human body, it provides the energy to make the brain and other organs function. So I'm not my brain, just as I am not my kidney. And if the brain chemistry is out of balance, it can cause the experience of depression or anxiety. Of course, sometimes medication is required. Understanding the difference between soul and brain allows me to detach from the experience of depression. When empowered with self-awareness, I, the soul, can support the healing process by creating positive thoughts that establish new pathways in the brain. The second thing that spirituality can offer is a pause and a reset to peace. Meditation is an intrinsic part of the spiritual journey that cleans our feelings, heals our emotions, and elevates our thoughts. Thoughts and feelings are first experienced in the mind. And just as I am not my brain, I am not my mind. My mind is a product and influenced by many things. The external atmosphere, inherited beliefs, perhaps chemical processes happening in the body, another person's energy, or even old memories. Sometimes over-attention to the thoughts and feelings in my mind can cause distress. As we over-identify with them, it becomes the egoic mind and starts to rule us. Through meditation, I become familiar with the peaceful quality of my natural state of mind. Imagine a pool of water, undisturbed. Imagine your mind like a still lake, undisturbed by the trigger of old beliefs, thoughts, ideas, and habits. Through meditation, I reset to this peace and easily recognize when my peace has been eclipsed by another energy. Meditation helps me detach from my own mind and reset to my original state. This protects the mind from influence. Thirdly, spirituality brings the realization that whatever is happening in my life is a settlement and can become a loving settlement. Sometimes disturbances in our minds are caused by our own past actions. something that isn't obvious now. I can't see what I've done in the past now. I may have caused harm to myself or another in some way. And the memory of that is sometimes stored in the conscience, which can create a disturbance in the mind. I can't always identify the specific source of the disturbance because the original act may have happened many years ago, perhaps even in a different lifetime. So if I can accept that everything that is happening in my mind is a chance to settle a score and reconcile the past, then I can be much more accepting of what is happening now. Yet, in this process, we do need help. A more powerful energy field is needed to settle a disturbed energy. A consistent connection with a divine source settles disturbances in the mind over time by stabilizing the soul in a higher and more positive state. Being reparented again spiritually with love is a great balm for a troubled mind. And lastly, spirituality can invoke a compassionate response to the self. As I become self-aware, I start to get in touch with my sense of eternity. The soul is eternal. And as an eternal being, I've had many experiences on my journey through time, some life-threatening. Fear, of course, was a sensible response in that journey. So when a present situation triggers an old memory, my mind is flooded with fear and sometimes can feel anxious. Acknowledging these feelings brings relief. And more importantly, accepting that they're transient gives rise to a compassionate attitude and helps me to let go. As the old saying goes, this too shall pass. Understanding the cyclic nature of energy helps me to put anxious feelings in perspective and stabilizes my mind. Spirituality empowers the soul with self-awareness, builds resilience, and fortifies mental health, especially needed in these extreme times. So are you ready to deepen your journey of self-awareness and develop a tonic for your own mind?